Today, I just want to show you something quickly about incremental change and how the incremental changes we make at each point of a pipeline, whether for the business as a whole or as a sales individual, can add up to a massive effect at the end. If we think, okay, I want to improve next month, next year, next quarter, and I want to add, say, 20-25% to my margin or my income, it's very easy to think that, oh, okay, well, I'm going to have to figure out ways to get 25% more of everything. And it's not true. Actually, what we need is the cumulative effect of several stages in a pipeline. Every business I've ever known has at least 5 stages that are influenceable. In fact, this one is based on the car industry, and I've just done this for a salesperson in a retailer, where they get an average of 100 leads a month, and they're converting 25% of them, giving them about 25 appointments. Half of those that they see, they sell to, meaning an average of 12 and a half sales at a unit margin on average of £1,200. That means their subtotal of gross margin is 15,000 plus the add-on sales that they then get with service plans, life, shine, gap, insurance, and so on, giving a total margin of 18,750. Now, actually, there are 10 or 12 steps in a typical car dealer process, so this matters even more. However, just to give you the quick example of how it can work for any business, I've done the minimum that I've ever found, which is 5. So let's have a look then. What happens if we do a little bit better at each of the stages of the pipeline? Well, this is the interesting bit to me. If we just get 10% more at each stage, and I'll just fill that out here, just to show you quickly the build-up of the effect. What you can see immediately happens is actually, just by doing a little bit more at each of the pipeline levels, it actually increases by about 64%, from 18,750 to 27,450. That's a massive change for making just a little bit of difference at each level. So that's the sort of lesson number 1, if you like, is to go, right, how can I make a big change actually by doing lots of little changes? Here's the warning though, and I need to tell you there could be bad news as well, is that the same can happen in reverse. Imagine that actually we feel like we're doing a great job because we're at 90% of all our metrics, which could feel like we're in a good place or a reasonable place because we're nearly there, right? But look what happens. If we drop at 10%, so therefore at 90% of our objective over 5 different metrics, then actually we drop by about 46% in terms of the end result. It can be really, really dangerous. So this is why it's so important to both understand how you're doing at each level, not just the end result, but each level of the pipeline. And then you can start to think about, well, what could I do to work on the bits that I could improve in? And then what I do, just in a practical sense, is make a list of all the things underneath each title that I could do to make improvements. I wouldn't do all of these. I would actually pick out one column at a time, one thing that I think is the most likely that I can do better as an individual or as a business, and focus in on that. And then actually we can start to make some serious gains. I hope that's useful to you. Use the pause button if you want to go and have a look at those ideas that I've just thrown out there. But I just wanted to make this point that actually an accumulation of effect at each of the stages of the pipeline can make a massive difference. Go and try it, apply it to your own role, your own business, and see what you come up with. I think you could be very interested in the results.